Today we're going to talk more general about some things that we can do, 8 items that we can accomplish with regard to flooding in the first 100 days of the Buzbee administration. Now, don't get me wrong. So, there's times that sometimes it's easier to report things not comprehensively. Let's be comprehensive here. We're going to do a lot more than this. But what we're focused on now is what we can do. 8 things that we can do in the first 100 days to deal with flooding. Now, I think it's been pretty clear as we went along in this campaign that I'm not a career politician. I'm running as an independent. I've been attacked relentlessly by the current mayor, Sylvester Turner, a career politician, and by his cronies, and frankly by his people that work for the city of Houston that we pay to attack me on a daily basis on Twitter and other places. And they say that we're unrealistic and that my vision for Houston cannot be accomplished. My response is very simple. Why not? Why not? We need a change at City Hall. Sylvester Turner is not getting the job done. He calls himself the CEO of the city of Houston. But let's be clear, as somebody who's in the private sector, if Sylvester Turner were in the private sector, his subpar performance would have resulted in his termination long ago, a long time ago. On December 14th, the voters will say no to 4 more years of Sylvester Turner and his pay-to-play insiders who are just not getting the job done for the city of Houston. So let's go through the 8 tangible, specific things we can do with regard to flooding within the first 100 days of our administration. First, we will identify and abate flood-prone intersections. I will instruct the Rising Water Director, hear what I'm saying, the Rising Water Director to assemble with the assistance of homeowners associations, civic clubs, super neighborhood groups, churches, synagogues, to list and prioritize the top problem intersections across the city of Houston during flood events. This will be our guide to the priorities of where do we to prepare and deploy resources and for the infrastructure upgrades that need to be done. And we'll be transparent about it. Let's wait for Daryl to get his phone fixed here. I love that voice, Daryl.
I know. Yeah.
Let me say it again. We're going to identify those flood-prone intersections across the city of Houston and make that our priority when we talk about infrastructure improvements. This will be our guide to the priorities of where we deploy our resources. And we're going to be transparent about it. The residents of Houston will know which of those intersections that we're going to focus on. And going forward, these areas will also be the ones where we deploy various technologies to keep rising water back from these intersections. Number 2, we will prioritize preventative drain cleaning. On day 1 as mayor, I will instruct the Public Works Department to provide a drain-by-drain report that we will make public on where they were last cleared of debris, and then we will start cleaning those systems that have not been addressed, as well as set up a reporting system and a regular cleaning schedule. I learned in the military the importance of scheduled preventative maintenance, and we will be transparent. The residents of the city of Houston will know where we're doing the work, when it's next scheduled, where they are in line. And they will be able to come to City Hall and make their case that maybe their project should be put forward. We're going to do it the right way. And let's be clear, the sweeping of anything into the street inlets, whether it be grass, and we know it happens every single day, trash, anything, is an action that is illegal and will be ticketed and enforced. We can't be out there spending our resources and our time cleaning these drainage systems when we have contractors out there the very next day filling them up with debris. We won't let that happen. Number 3, we will have new leadership for flood abatement and control. On day 1 as mayor, I will appoint the Office of Emergency Management to be our primary coordinator for preparation for and response to flood events. We will not be caught like a deer in the headlights in the city of Houston like we were in Hurricane Harvey. It's no longer acceptable for debris pickup from a hurricane like Harvey to take almost 3 months after the hurricane to be picked up in some areas. And when the next flood event comes, and we know it will come, we will be ready. We will ensure that our plan includes incorporation of those nonprofits and corporate partners who understand and know storm response. Number 4, and this goes back to those intersections that completely paralyze our city every time we have a heavy rain event. On day 1 as mayor, I will initiate the planning for a program that deploys our resources to block intersections who we know habitually flood quickly during rain events. This will protect all of our citizens. And let me say as an aside, although we won't accomplish this in 100 days, we intend to have an app that helps drivers during rain events to know where they can drive and where they cannot drive. Just in the last tropical storm Imelda, I went around with my son in his Jeep, and we were trying to help people who were stranded. And it's the same places all over the city of Houston. But there are people that are driving around the city of Houston that do not know the areas in which they're driving. And some of these intersections need to be blocked to prevent the type of things that we saw just in Imelda, which was multiple car rescues of people that were stuck in water as the water continued to rise. This is something that we have the intellectual capacity to do, and we will do it. Number 5, we will ensure priority projects are expedited. On day 1 as mayor, I will instruct our rising water director to develop a plan to critically review and monitor Harris County flood maintenance and abatement plans that impact the city. And then we will develop a plan of action with scheduled prioritization of and the funding of flood prevention projects. And we will be transparent about it. You will know which projects have priority and which ones do not. You will know where we're spending our funds next. You will know why. We will lay the detail out to explain to you why we are spending our money here and why this project has priority. We have a funding source that's available. We're going to use it for these projects and these projects alone. Number 6, Houston First contractors. On day 1 as mayor, I will begin the development of a plan to give preference to Houston home-based companies to do disaster work. We will assemble a list of qualified companies and ensure that vendors from disadvantaged communities also have opportunities for these contracts. I will make the Office of Business Opportunity actually work the way it was intended. It won't be abused like it is now, where it is now used as a way for this mayor to reward donors, old partners, and friends. Number 7. On day 1 as mayor, I will reach out to Governor Greg Abbott. And frankly, I've already made that ask. And seek to have Houston put back in charge of our own disaster funds. Conservatives know and believe that we do best when we manage our money here locally. Local control is something that's always been important. I will endeavor to convince the governor that we can best manage ourselves competently and efficiently here in Houston. I will make it clear to our governor that the days of pay-to-play corruption at City Hall are over, and that our administration will run on the principles of transparency, accountability, and openness. I think it's far beyond time that we restore trust at City Hall. And part of that is restoring the trust with whether it be funds from the GLO or the feds, or directly dealing with the governor or the federal government. We do not get a lot of respect here in Houston, and it all originates from the current mayor. Number 8, we will reboot the assistance program for Harvey victims. On day 1 as mayor, we will reboot the resident assistance program, which so far has been a dismal failure. Those that received contracts through Turner can either perform or be terminated and replaced by people or entities that are interested in getting help to our flooded citizens now. And hear me now, Jasper. I anticipate and look forward to canceling those contracts that have provided no benefit to our residents, but are providing millions in benefit to campaign donors and cronies. That's probably going to be the funnest thing I'm going to do. From the beginning of this campaign on our website, we've had a very detailed and comprehensive vision for the future of the city of Houston. What we decided to do was lay out 5 things that we could absolutely do in 100 days, and then specific things that we can do with regard to flooding in that first 100 days. And that's what we've talked about now. But if you need more information, go to our website at www.tonybuzbeeformayor.com, and you can see a lot more detail. You know, too many times in politics, and let me just as philosophically say this, too many times in politics you hear about, the left and the right. And increasingly we are told that you must be either on the left or the right. Well, I would respectfully suggest and submit to you that in city politics and in Houston, the challenges that we face, there is no left and there is no right. There is only up or down. Up, are we going to be the city that we aspire to be? The city that we can be? The city that we know we should be? Or down? Are we going to go the way of other cities in this country that are stagnant, that hide the ball, and that are corrupt? That's the question. That's the question in this upcoming election. We have limitless potential in the city of Houston, but it all comes down to leadership. And I look forward to being the mayor of the city of Houston, and ask any viewer, please go out and vote if you care about your city. I'll take a few questions.